Well, I'm one of 5 children, or eventually 6, because my father was a Royal Marine. He was a colour sergeant. He had 5 natural children and decided they're all leaving home and getting married, so I'll adopt one. So I'm one of 6. We had money-wise a poor childhood, but love-wise, plenty. Yeah, we had a very, very happy childhood. 1943, I was a scholarship boy, but I was in trouble because I hadn't done my homework. So I was cycling home from school one day, having not done my homework, I called into the recruiting office. Saw the chief petty officer, recruiter, who fiddled my age a bit, and I joined the Navy.
How old were you?
16. And he made it so that I could get in. It's strange because that recruiter, Chief Petty Officer Fred Bath, I went back after the war to say thank you for helping me get in, and he was just leaving the Navy. I, meanwhile, had got a job at Lloyd's of London by answering a newspaper advert and made it possible to get him employed. So I in turn, employed him. Joined as a seaman as a Chatham rating. And I was a seaman for a while, and then I was drafted to the LCMS, which means Landing Craft Material Supply. And for the rest of my naval career, I was on landing craft. My first appointment was HMS Elder, near Clacton, where we were testing landing craft on the Blackwater to see if they came across from America as cargo. And we had to test them for water seaworthiness. And, 1 in 20 leaked better than they leaked on the Blackwater and are made whole before an invasion than otherwise. And then I continued at different depots during the war all over England, Ipswich, Skegness, quite a lot of different places, but all to do with landing craft. My wartime experiences were greater in Civvy Street because we were bombed to hell where I lived. And my experiences there were greater and more death-defying than ever. Yeah. So I was on Hither Green Station, which you've probably heard of, when a bomb dropped on it. And I was in the tunnel, so I wasn't hurt, but I was able to go to the platform and see all the dead people who had been waiting for the train. Yeah. I can remember that so well. Because in South London there was death and destruction everywhere. So my naval wasn't a heroic story. It was a suffering story. Yeah. But yes, war never hurt me, not physically. Emotionally, yeah. I mean, being a servant of Churchill was a great thing, because we all liked him. I suppose there were others who didn't, but I think Churchill on the whole was popular with every serviceman. You just knew you couldn't lose. You on the winning side, don't think about losing. I remember once too, I was at Malvern, in the Malvern Hills. The Navy had taken over a college, and there was an earthquake in a place called Agadir, which is out in the desert somewhere. And the Navy were used to load up transport with prefabs, which we were sending out to relieve the people. And we were taken down to the sidings at Malvern Station it was June, and it was warm, and lunchtime with the bag mule, 3 others and me decided to rest on top of the open wagon, and we went to sleep. And we were 4 of us. We were all tired, and we woke up with the engine going. We were AWOL. Yeah, absolutely without leave. I can remember 4 of us running back down the rail track 5 miles to where we had been left behind. Yeah. I was at one depot where the Navy would play the Army and football. And the naval team were all PTIs. And you're familiar with all of it. Anyway, came the Friday, the match was Saturday, and the chief petty officer came into the mess and said, "Do any of you guys play football?" Well, I did. So one of the PTIs had gone sick, and so I was suddenly thrust with all the PTIs and me play football. The Navy won 1-0, and I scored the goal. So thereafter, the rest of my naval, I was a boxer, and the naval career was enhanced by that goal, because wherever I went, there was one of these PTIs, and they saw that I got good training. I was a boxer. I held the Navy's light heavyweight title. In my study in there is a photo of 4 sailors, one of whom is me, and the other 2 of the other 3 were killed on D-Day. So we were all Landicroft coxswains. Yes, Remembrance Day means a lot. I lost so many friends. Yeah.
So were you there on D-Day as well?
I was this side preparing Landicroft. Yeah. So I was involved, but not there. We weren't able to be free, and we weren't released to make whoopee. We still had to abide by the rules. But I can remember the joy it brought. That was VE Day, and I was given foreign service leave 2 weeks to go to Hong Kong and fight the Japanese. But then they decided, whoever they were, that I wouldn't go to Hong Kong. I would go to close another base at Tiptree in Essex, near Colchester. And there we were all, there was only 12 of us, 1 officer, me, and 10 stokers as the heavy gang for shifting engines and so on. And having arrived at Tiptree, the officers concerned said, "Now you go out there and find yourself accommodation." So we had to go and find our own accommodation, yeah, although in the Navy, and I was with a farm labourer named Ruffle, and after a week. He gave me a week's notice. You're too posh for us, he said. I was in Colorado, I was a writer then. And I was one day walking down the high street in Tiptree. A girl in Land Army uniform came up to me and said, "Excuse me, sailor, I believe you're looking for accommodation." "Yes, I am. My mother's a widow. Come and meet her and see if you'd like it." So this lady girl took me to her home, and I eventually married her. She was a lady girl. We've had a lovely time. We're very much in love, but unfortunately, she doesn't know me. It's sad. We went yesterday, and she was civil to Ben and my son but didn't know who we were. I had a Times newspaper, and I was walking down Fenchurch Street in the city of London, and it said "Clerk wanted" on the front page of the Times, for jobs vacant. It said "Clerk wanted, 143 Fenchurch Street," and I was outside 143, so I went in, interviewed. They said "Start Monday." I said, "I've got no clothes." I said, "I've only got my uniform." So I started work in uniform. And I'm still there. The same job, not the same job, but I'm still at Lloyd's.
But you worked your way up, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. I was one of the 120 employees then, but eventually became chairman of my own company. I worked for them for 25 years and then thought, well, if I can make money for you, I can make it for me. So I started my own. And that's how it went for another 15 years.
And you are an author of your own book.
Yes.
It's called The Geezer with the Flower.
Yeah.
Talk us through that.
That was when I was in court as the chairman of the magistrates. And the police inspector came in and said, "Your worship, there's a villain outside wants to know who's on. Is it the geezer with the flower?" I said, "Yes, it is." He said, "Well, Jesus Christ, I'm not going home then." And he didn't. I would not stand any bullying or burglary. I tried my last case on my 70th birthday. You are not allowed to sit as a magistrate over 70. So, yeah, that was the chairman of the bench at Camberwell, the same bench that Stephen Lawrence came before, or his murderers. I dealt with all his murderers. It was a ghastly murder. There's a knifing in the Eltham. I don't think there's much else to tell. My interest in life is Freemasonry. And I'm still around. I don't know why I'm, but I have a job to stand. And a beautiful lady comes to interview